Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to... Is it twitch.tv? I don't know, it feels weird. I've not said this for like a week now. Welcome to twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham Day and I'm joined by, well, the guy that you know, the guy that's been holding the fort while I've been away with the COVID. It's the man that we call Baby. Irate.
Hello, Graham. I'm so glad that you are back. I'm so glad.
You did a good job. So for those of you who don't know, I have been away. You can probably tell from my voice. I've had the Rona. I've had the COVIDness. And Bibby has been holding the fort all on his lonesome for the past week, despite having his birthday and having some time off in and amongst that as well. So he's done a good job. He did a good job. I mean, yeah, tuning in and you were sat there going, do you know what? I'm not a presenter. I'm a co-host rather than a presenter. Graham usually does this stuff, like slapping yourself down, but you did a good one. So well done. Oh, is that a kind of tropical muscle mousse, like moose juice that you drink? Is that what you're? That's what I'm drinking. Oh yeah.
Listen, when you wake up in the morning and you've had limited sleep, as Graham most likely has for the last week, there is nothing better. Now this is it sounds like I'm fucking selling my ass here. I'm genuinely not. There is nothing better than a can of tropical moose juice. Oh god!
Just want to clarify as well before anyone starts linking dots that weren't meant to be linked. We're not saying it's a cure for COVID. It's not what we're saying. The guys at Muscle Moose just provided the moose juice because they're lovely, not because they want us to like ship some sort of agenda or something like that. It is good though. It's good. It's good gear. Jumping into the chat quickly though, West. You beautiful man. Good morning. Thank you very much for the 3-month sub. I can't hit repeat on that as well. For some reason, they're not showing up in my mini feed. And Jess, as well, with the 18-month prime. Hey, 2 subs already. Nice.
Sub hype.
Hey, there we go.
There's another sprinkle.
Bosh. Gagad, good morning. How is Cyberpunk treating you? Hopefully better than a lot of other people have been having it. Do you know... The last thing I said on Cyberpunk was that, do you know what? I think hopefully the game's just a bit too long, too much to do. Maybe that's the frustration. And then, yeah, what a difference a week makes. Now looking at it, like, fuck, god damn. Tito, good morning. It says, hey, look who's back. GG Graham. We want Baby every day, though. Oh, all right. Yeah, in a bit. See you in a bit. Iceman.
No, come back.
In Brian Blessed's voice. Actually, I'm not even going to try. I was going to try and do it, but there's no way my throat would manage anyone doing Blessed's voice anyway, but let alone right now. Tito, send me a case stat. I'll inject it into my veins. You know what? I don't know if Bibby showed these off, but these actually came, I think, last week, this week? I can't remember. I was... COVID.
I think it was last Thursday, I think, they came.
So we got... dropped off a crate of the new flavour from the lovely guys at Muscle Moose, so much appreciate that. Thank you very much.
It's funny watching the poster run down the road with that in his hand. They fucking weigh a ton.
Yeah, I got it was DPD that delivered it for me, so I got a DPD note. I missed it one day, and it came the next day. Opened the door and the dude's like taking a picture of it just to show that it was like there. So I was like, yeah, and it was me that was the one that struggled. I bent down to pick it up, not expecting it to be like a crate of 12. Yeah, exactly. That's what. Thanks, mate. Just back in the house. Nice to see you up and running. Thank you very much, West. It's good to be back. Thomas Adams says, I don't get why I'm not getting notifications when you go live. Sorry I'm late, boys. You are not very late. We've only been live for a few minutes. Well, 14 minutes we've been live, but we've only been on for about 5. So if that, we're still chatting. But thank you very much for being here, dude. Mr. T says, welcome back, Mr. Day. Bibby, you shagger. Hey.
Shagger.
Morning, lads. G-Man, how you doing, dude?
Can we get a shagger emote?
Depends on what you want.
Would that be against terms of service?
I mean, it depends on what you want for it. Shagger could be a very, very clear visual image, and I don't think it's something that TOS would be very much on board with. But it depends on how we hear it.
Yeah, there was various words that you're not allowed to say on Twitch. Did you see that article yesterday?
What was that one? An article yesterday? I didn't see that one.
Article yesterday. Yeah, not that I covered.
Oh, okay.
But there are certain words now that you can't say.
What, like pigeons?
Yes.
Shoes.
And Willies. And anything to do with Sean Paul.
shake that thing. Miss gonna shake that thing. Yo, Annabella, Jodie and Rebecca. Oh, my throat's not cut out for this. Morning, Robbo. How you doing, dude? Welcome back. How's things? Gary, how you doing? Yeah, I'm not too bad. I'm still not 100%. I still have. Do you know? I'll give you the breakdown of COVID. The way I kept explaining it to like Mark and Lee from the office was, it was I had basically like symptom roulette. So you get all these different symptoms that you get, like you get the hot and cold sweats and stuff. Basically anything that you get with flu, a cough, sickness, a little bit of poops. Gotta have the poops. But I actually didn't have that much diarrhea, to be fair. But I did have a lot of the other stuff. But it was like today's the day of splitting migraine. The next day is the day of coughing and phlegm and so on. So it was kind of like I'd have one day where I'd be not too bad. The next day the symptoms were completely changing. It was completely different. But yeah, over the last couple of days, it's just absolutely ripped my throat to bits for me. Just so much crap coming out of my body, and I don't know whether I've damaged my throat, so my body's like secreting its own filth to try and like cover it and heal it. But yeah, anyway, long story short, crap, gank, nastiness. So yeah, there we go. Enjoy your breakfast, people. nice. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's all right. It wasn't horrendous, but it was extremely tedious. I know some people have like been pretty much bedridden, like hospitalized with it. We weren't that bad. We were bedridden for a few days, but it's more the fact that it's just constant and it's tiring. Yeah, that's what it is. Anyway, let's stick a pin in that. COVID can get in the bin. We'll talk about it next week when it's less apparent. But please, Tito says, please don't. I don't want to know what's going on. My bad. Do you know, you might not have it as anywhere near that stretch. Some people just have it and don't notice it. Some people have it and what. So you might be good. The diarrhea was fun for me. See, I didn't have that much. I had like I don't know, a couple of days where it was a bit more apparent, but yeah, not that much, thankfully. Touch wood. In before Graham poos himself live on stream. Nice. Good, thanks. Bit fed up with COVID. Was supposed to only have 10 days off for Christmas. Now I have 4 weeks because Wales locked down from the 28th. Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah, they went to tier 4 or something, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's from the 28th is when their tier 4 starts or something like that. But yeah, I mean, I imagine that's not going to be great business-wise. Because did you say you don't? Is your business walking as opposed to like online stuff as well? If that is the case, then yeah. Well, you get to join in the scoop for a few more weeks. Mrs. Danny Day 83 says it's been a fun 10 days. Well, it has been for you. You've been able to spend it with me and my mucus. You're so lucky. That porridge doesn't sound appealing now after that description. That's actually what I had for breakfast this morning. The last 2 days I've not really eaten anything because I'm eating it and then it's just coming back up. So today I've had porridge, which I was about to say was fine. But as the countdown was going, Bibby had the pleasure of hearing me run off to the bathroom and throw up. So I'm not 100% yet. So yeah, nice. Anyway, that's enough of that. Bib, should we jump into some?
Yes. Do you know what, Graham? I think we should.
Do you know, just before we do then, what did I miss? I did tune in for a couple of bits, mainly for Gary to just tell me that I have more time off than Santa Claus, because I didn't have COVID or anything. But did I miss anything in particular? I know that we led not yesterday, the day before with some Cyberpunk news.
Yeah, Cyberpunk is banned on this channel now. We're not talking about Cyberpunk anymore. I am bored to the back fucking teeth of this. So yeah, that's pretty much all you missed. If you wanted to talk about Cyberpunk. But yeah, there was sprinkling of yesterday. I don't know if you was knocking about yesterday or not, but we played the Skyrim theme tune because Skyrim is now on an Xbox Game Pass, which is probably one of the better news stories I've covered over the last 4 days or so. So that was fun. Codemasters getting bought out by EA potentially, and Take-Two being pushed aside. That was obviously a big one yesterday. That was the big one.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was I'm still torn on who benefits from that, whether or not it's going to be the community long term or definitely Codemasters short term with it being 1.2 billion. But yeah, the news has been okay-ish. It's just if you go into any of your favorite news outlets like VG 24/7 or VGC, Eurogamer, The Verge, any of those, it's just all cyberpunk at the moment because it's the hot topic. Everyone wants to get clicks. Something that could easily go into one article, splitting out into 4 or 5, just so they get 4 or 5 more clicks. So it's a little bit annoying, but we've managed to find some okay news in between.
Yeah, I mean, understanding the frustration around the cyberpunk stuff. But once it's been said, it's been said. It's just it's the teardown mentality because I mean it's kind of that victim of its own success thing. Cyberpunk was. Let me jump into the split screen. Has been so big for so long that news stories don't like to move on to another news story until they've got another news story. If there's nothing else, well, we'll just continue making this the news and
yeah.
I mean, it's not helped itself in many ways, so a lot of it is justified. A lot of it is blown out of proportion, but yeah.
How many times have we seen in the bottom of articles where it said, if you want to find out more, and it's just listed like 17 more articles for you to go into because it's like they managed to just cram all of the articles into like 7 paragraphs, so that there's loads of hyperlinks that take you through to other articles. How many times have we seen that?
Exactly. Yeah, this game's crap. It's broken. It's horrendous. I want my money back, but you can't get your money back. Oh my god, don't buy this game. But if you do want to buy this game and you want to figure out how to do your first mission, then Steve has done our walkthrough. Oh, fuck's sake, I get the idea. God damn it. I kissed the cyberpunk stuff. Quick recap. I'm guessing that was missed, Tito, unless you really enjoyed the cyberpunk.
Yeah, Tino's a big fan. He doesn't shut up about it.
Did you actually miss the cyberpunk stuff, or is that banter? I don't know. Did you see X Hamster had an increase of 3,000+% for cyberpunk searches on the website?
What?
X Hamster, that's the prawn site, isn't it? Is it a porn site? I mean,
it is.
That doesn't surprise me because I remember when we did the Metal Gear Solid 5 Phantom Pain content, within weeks there was like all sorts of different like versions of it, like the Phantom Poon or something like that, and then there was like I can't remember, there was some dodgy versions of it anyway, so that doesn't surprise me. But anyway, bit of Phantom Poon. You are?
Make a parody out of absolutely anything.
Yeah,
anything that you can think that's either a children's TV show or your favorite TV show, whatever it is, they will find a way to sexualize it. It doesn't make a difference what the fuck it is.
Yeah. Anyone want to watch Fraggle Cock? it's probably a thing. I don't actually know if it is. I remember like Inspector Gadget. That was one when I was in high school. Let's watch Inspector Gadget. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's.
That was another beauty.
What was that?
Womb Raider.
Yes. Oh, amazing. PUBG got a new map, says Robert. It has Haven. Have you played it? What do you think? I've seen it. Is it like live servers yet? Is that today? I know it was on the test servers. I've been watching a few people stream it over the last week. I've not played it myself. KC Dice says Cyberpunk worked fine for me for the first few hours, but decided to wait a few weeks before going back just to be safe. It's banter, sorry. Straight off my head this morning. It's uncool to say and not hate on it, but I'm enjoying Cyberpunk 2077 on PC. 40 hours in, minor bugs here and there, but very much enjoying it. I mean, that's fine. See, I love the fact that that people are enjoying the game because it's gonna be a game that's gonna be wonderful. It's a game that I still will play.
Absolutely.
My issue around it is obviously the media carousel, like people wanting you to hate it because it's fashionable to hate it. But my biggest issue around it is when people some people are playing it and enjoying it, and then you'll see a lot of people that are blaming consumers for the game being broken. That's my biggest issue that I've seen over the last week is, yeah, well, it works fine for me. Yeah, so it can work fine for you. It's wonderful that it works fine for you, Mr. Person, kind of thing. But you'll see a lot of people on social media attacking other people, going, "Well, what do you expect? You're playing it on a PS4," and it's like the game literally was announced on the PS4. They were selling last gen consoles and controllers and things for it. Don't attack a consumer because they've invested in a product that doesn't. If you buy a vacuum, you expect it to pick up the dirt. That is a quote that I saw someone using on social media yesterday. And absolutely, you can't buy a game and go, oh, sorry, you did buy it for the last gen. Well, okay, well, they sold it for the last gen, so... but yeah, it definitely will get shitloads of patches. They've announced like January and February patches and stuff, so it will definitely improve, particularly the next gen stuff. So I'm not going to hate it. I hope they would have come off much better than they did. They didn't do themselves a great deal of justice. But the people that are playing it and managing to play it, particularly those on decent spec PCs, are really, really enjoying it. So if you are going to play it and you have a PC, jump in there. If not, then maybe sit on it for a little bit and then jump in when you can. Here's subject matter. Does a grandpa system a Simpson hat meme? West, is it a porn site? It's a prawn. It's live now on PC. Ah, okay, nice. Haven, yeah, I probably won't give it a look. I keep saying I will do, but I never do on PC. Tried getting a refund on PlayStation Store for Cyberpunk, and they said no, said Thomas Adam. Don't think it helps that I put 7 hours into it before I decided I can't take it.
I'm going to get a refund.
Yeah. Poor excuse. How dare you expect your game to work
like that? That's the only probably way that you're going to.
The biggest issue for me is the review cover-up. That's BS. Oh, bye, babe. And he's back again. There we go.
Yeah. I'm massively out of sync.
Yeah, the review cover-up, that was horrendous. That was. And we were saying beforehand that it does happen. Like when we were sat in the studio, I think it may have even been last Tuesday or the one before. I can't remember. And I was saying the fact that the reviews were handled that way could just be poor PR and so on. That kind of stuff does happen. It's not a good sign of things to come. Didn't expect it to be a surefire sign of things to come. Knowing what we know now from what we saw then, it read all of the signs that the console stuff was going to be a catastrophe, and they were just hiding it. But we gave them the benefit of the doubt, saying, okay, that kind of stuff does happen. But no, yeah, I agree. Anyway, let's jump in. That's enough of that. We weren't talking about Cyberpunk. Just the fact that I haven't been here means we spent 10 minutes talking about Cyberpunk. Let's jump into our actual news story. The first news story of the day is about next-gen consoles. You know, we haven't spoken about next-gen consoles for a while. Well, I haven't, because I've not been here for a while. So let's talk about next-gen consoles. As Andy Robinson at VGC shares this article from a couple of days ago. You may have seen this, but obviously it's potentially a good story for those of you that are interested in buying technology going forward, not just next-gen consoles, but maybe some graphics cards for PCs and so on, as UK politicians call for action against PS5 and Xbox Series scalpers. MPs motion a debate over resale of consoles and automated bots, which they say should be banned. A group of British MPs have called for legislation to prevent PS5 and Xbox Series X and S scalpers from reselling consoles for vast profits. Six Scottish National Party... Six Scottish National Party. Is that the name of the party? I've never even heard of that. There you go. Six Scottish National Party tabled an early day motion on Monday calling for legislative proposals prohibiting the resale of gaming consoles and computer components at prices greatly above manufacturers' recommended retail price. Early day motions are motions tabled by members of Parliament that formally call for debate in the House to draw attention to particular subjects of interest. Monday's motion, which has so far been signed by a total of 15 members of Parliament, also calls on the UK government to make the resale of goods purchased using automated bots, software favoured by scalpers, to circumvent retail queues and illegal activity. The MPs suggest implementing legislative proposals similar to those introduced for the secondary selling of tickets, which require resellers to be transparent in regards to their identity and details of seating. The motion states, new releases of gaming consoles and computer components should be available to all customers at no more than the manufacturer's recommended retail price and not be bought in bulk by the use of automated bots, which often circumvent maximum purchase quantities imposed by the retailer. It says that action banning bots would deny unscrupulous vendors the chance to make themselves vast profits at the expense of genuine gamers and computer users, whilst also deterring fraudulent cybercriminal activity. with PS5 and Xbox Series X and S availability failing to satisfy launch demand, next-gen console scalpers have sought to cash in over the past month by selling them at extortionate prices on marketplaces like eBay, where a significant number of consoles have been sold for more than double their retail price. A recent study suggested that so-called scalpers have made over $28 million in next-gen console profits through auction site eBay. Excuse me. According to analysis conducted by data engineer Michael Driscoll, the median selling price for the Xbox Series S, which is has a retail price of $300 on eBay, was $469, and for the more powerful console, the Series X, which is $499, it was $865, generating over $9 million in profits for sellers. The PS5 Digital Edition, which is $399, had a median price of $937. While the PS5 Disc Edition, $499, had a median selling price of $1,021, generating $19 million in profits for resellers. Damn, okay, we'll stop there. $28 million through eBay for next-gen consoles. Ridiculous. But, do you know, maybe a thing of the past as UK politicians are calling for action against scalpers. They've motioned a debate trying to stop that bib. Thoughts?
With all the things that are going on in Britain at this moment in time, do you really think that they're going to pass any kind of fucking motion against new consoles being sold at extortionate rates? Like, the two main things that we've got going on now, Brexit and obviously the COVID stuff. They can't even get them two fucking things right. They've had so much time to be able to do it. What makes you think that this is going to be any different? It's just a bunch of fucking dimwits sat in a room arguing about stuff that they want to try and push, but ultimately somebody else doesn't want to. But I agree with the chat, like that. I think a couple of them have definitely missed out and ruined the kids' Christmases or something, which is why it's being brought up in there. But
to be fair, if your dad's Boris Johnson, your Christmas is ruined anyway.
I mean, this stuff has been going on for, I don't know, for as long as the internet. I mean, even before the internet, and you had just fucking someone on the back of a van just dropping stuff off. Like, scalping has been around for decades, hundreds of years. What makes me think now is the time to be able to do it? Because it's a hot property. It's never going to change. Like, there will always be supply and demand. There will always be someone trying to sell something for more of the value because they have it. People want it. How can you stop people from scalping? Do you make the bots illegal? It doesn't. Illegal activity happens on the internet all the time. There'll be still thousands and millions of people downloading stuff, regardless of what it is. I don't want to. Is it movies, TV, films? Back in the day, LimeWire obviously got used. Napster. All of this stuff was highly illegal, but people were still doing it. What makes you think that this is going to be a difference? It's mental. What should be, and I've just seen this, Thomas in the chat had just said what should be illegal is high streets doing this.
Yeah.
I think that's probably where the line should be drawn if people are doing it on eBay and stuff. I mean, I think I said this story last week when I went in and I posted a picture because I'd been in CEX and I'd managed to get a few games, but there was a bloke behind the counter looking on eBay at how much PS5s were going because they were selling them for the same price in the store, and they was checking to make sure that they're not undercutting themselves, because that's what CEX do. It's the same as any game shop, really. They'll look at what the going rate is for games on their shelf and then try to match it or undercut it slightly or overprice it slightly so that they can try and get a happy medium in between them. There's people actively doing that in front of people in the stores, and I think I don't think it's illegal. I think it's in super bad taste, especially if people are trying to look for them and they're in front of the whole shop floor looking at how much these are going for. I go, yeah, they're still going for $8.90. We're sweet, mate. Don't worry about it. I think that's in bad taste. I don't think it's illegal, but I don't know how they're going to try and police this. It doesn't make sense to try and police it. It's either highly illegal or it's not. You can't. There's too much of a grey area there for them to be able to put something straight down the line. If I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I mean, I do agree with them trying to stop the scalping process. So it's capitalism. The idea that you can buy something that someone else wants, utilize supply and demand to your benefit, and make money off it. That's just simple capitalism. So there is difficulty in the fact that that's what our society is built on. It's the idea that phone that you've got in your hand that's worth about £1,000 it's not worth £1,000. It'll be sold in a couple of years' time for a couple of £100 or whatever. But now the demand for it is huge, so the price for it, and it's the simple basis of a capitalist society. But these scalpers using bots and things, that undermines capitalism. Capitalism's supposed to come from fair competition. And if people are having bots that circumvent the rules and regulations of a fair system, then that changes that. So I can't see this. I mean, to be fair, I can't see this going too far, if I'm being honest. But if it was to go anywhere, it would stop the bots and things like that more than anything else. Because bots that can jump past queues, like you've gone to a website and like you're 100,000 in a queue of 12 million. You'll be on the website in 7 minutes. Bots can just jump straight past that and get you straight in. Add multiple things to your cart and purchase and check out without you even doing it. That stuff is illegal, and I can see that stuff definitely being stopped.
People are just going to make other accounts, so like, how do you police that? They'll just make various accounts for you to be able to go into different websites. I could buy one, Samantha could buy one, my brother could buy one, my nan, my granddad could buy one each, my mum could buy one, unless it's all you could just have different postal addresses for them to be able to pick them up. But I've literally just thought of something. It could be the stupidest analogy, but why do you go to Costco if you're a shop owner? To buy in bulk for a cheap price to sell at full price. Is that not exactly what this is like? It's stupid because obviously people are paying, they put a high ticket price on it because people are still willing to be able to pay it. It's the same as when fucking toilet roll was going out of fashion here, there, and everywhere. And corner shops were selling them for like 3 times the price of what you'd normally pay for a toilet roll. But this is exactly the same. How do you police stuff like that? You can't. You genuinely can't. Various people in the chat literally saying, to be true, like, I'm just going to read Robbo's because it's nail on head stuff. To be truthful, it's the consumer's fault. Willing to pay over the odds for it, the retailer will always take advantage of it. It is absolutely that. The only way that we can stop this is for people not scrambling to try and buy them, but people want them, so people will pay whatever it takes. If you've saved up £1,500 to be able to buy a PlayStation and a new TV, new games and stuff like that, but it's going to be £300 more than what you anticipated. If you've got the money, chances are you're probably going to buy it just so you can have all of those things. There's people who will be working all year to try and provide a console for their children. They could have had £900 set aside for a PlayStation 5 for Christmas and all its games and stuff like that. But if you're only getting the console for £800 or whatever it is, people will still buy it because they don't want their kids to be disappointed at Christmas. It's literally just supply and demand. And if people keep on buying it at that amount, unfortunately, that's the amount it's going to stay.
The thing, talking about in bulk though, there is another issue there. Beans with a 26-month sub. Thank you very much, Beans. What a guy.
What a guy.
What a guy. There is another bit though when it comes to talking about buying in bulk. You buy in bulk and you save VAT and everything on it because you've gone through all the paperwork and you put all the paperwork in place when you buy in Costco, and the money that you're saving on VAT you obviously done because you set up as a business and you're paying all the correct taxes. The people that are buying all these consoles and stuff aren't set up as businesses and aren't paying all the correct taxes, so there is issues underlying that. And the point is that you go to Costco because you can buy in bulk because it has been set up like that, and it's a fair, open way that you can go in and buy in bulk. You go to Curry's PC World online store, you're not supposed to be able to buy in bulk that fast, that quickly. The only reason you can do that is because you have a bit of software that is a cheat that's outside of the system. Yeah, they should 100% try stop that. There is nothing wrong with people buying stuff and then going, actually, I want to sell my belongings. That's free trade. You fill your boots. But if you buy in bulk and you are getting capital gains, you'll have to pay capital gains tax. If you buying something and selling something for a significant profit, there is a threshold where capital gains tax is like anything else in this country. You make a chunk of money, you'll get taxed for it. You get a wage, okay, income tax. You got a car, yeah, road tax. You start selling shitloads of consoles, and you want to do it legitimately, fair enough. Go on, log on, buy the console and sell it for a profit. Fill your boots. Don't use software that's going to cheat other people out of it. And then don't do it so much to put food on the table, like Crep Chief Notify said that, yeah, we've been putting food on the table. Nice, great. And how much?
All £28 million worth, yeah.
Yeah, no exactly. Worries. There's a lot of taxable income there for 28 million. So it is on the people that are purchasing it. I get that, but it's not solely on that. So, and it's I don't feel like it's fair to just blame consumers. It's easy enough to say don't buy it. I mean, I can say that because I've got one, so I don't have to worry about that. But I don't have a child that's like hoping, fingers crossed, that they're going to be getting one at Christmas. Parenthood puts horrendous pressures on some people, and some people will pay it. Yes, don't pay it. I would recommend people don't pay it. There will be shitloads of them soon. Maybe not in time for Christmas, but there will be. Don't pay it. However, some people have to. So, also, as well as urging people to not pay it, I think we should urge people to stop scalping as much as possible, where possible, by putting in restrictions. I mean, we've seen it, like it mentions in the article, we've seen it with ticket touts and so on. We can learn from that industry and put a lot of that onto the technology industries. We've seen it. I mean, who can buy a 3080 right now? Not me. Nope, nobody. Because same thing. So it's shit that we live in that sort of environment where people can just hold you to ransom. That's not capitalism. That's a flaw in a system. That's exploitation. Capitalism is based on a fair and open system, not exploitation.
Well, say for instance, I had 50 PS4s and I sold them for 850 quid each. I'm not delivering these to people and getting cash in hand. That's the only way that you're potentially ever going to be able to get away from paying tax. PayPal in this for you. If you end up having that much money in your PayPal account, the tax man's going to come calling anyway. So these people will, at some point, as soon as they reach a threshold, if they ain't getting the money sent digitally to them, if they're not getting it cash in hand, they will have to get it sent digitally to them. This might be me being naive because I've never handled that amount of money before. But if say for instance, someone's made 10 grand off of these consoles and it's not cash in hand stuff, surely they'll end up having to pay tax somewhere down the line, whether or not it's via PayPal. I mean, if it's friends and family, do you have to pay the tax if it's over a certain amount?
If you send in, if you something like, it's either 75 or 250. I can't remember what the amount is. I think it might be 75. Maybe they upped it. But you can send a decent chunk by friends and family. The thing with that is, if you send it via friends and family, it's just a direct payment. You aren't governed by, say if I buy something from you. Skids and Cones, what a name! Thank you very much for the raid. Welcome in. Hey,
let's go.
Hey,
how's it going?
Epic Skill is here as well. Tharian Drake, how are we all doing? Welcome in. Welcome in. Thank you very much for the raid. Very, very much appreciate it. Thank you very much. Hopefully you're doing good today. I can't remember what I was saying. It's complete.
The tax stuff. What the threshold is on PayPal.
Oh yeah, that was it. So if I send you money via friends and family, I have no comeback. So
yeah,
if I'm buying something from you and you say yeah, just send it me via friends and family. That way I don't pay 10% charge or whatever. Oh yeah, nice. But then something's wrong with my product and I want my money back. I can't get it back from you. Whereas if I do it goods registered, then that means that PayPal can track it as a purchase kind of thing. In that sort of sense, they will take a cut off of you just for sending the money, which covers them. It's almost like an insurance sort of fee, but it doesn't necessarily alert that to the authorities in terms of HMRC and that. And even 10 grand is not really going to be enough to get HMRC looking at you.
In a big straight away though, like I know you might not have the eyes on you, but if you're making 10 grand in 1 month digitally in PayPal, I
used to work in digital banking, and 10 grand wouldn't get you noticed at all unless you got a payment of over 10 grand in one. Then they weren't going to notice that. If you got regular payments all the time, then maybe they'd look at it. But it needs to be regular and monumental.
Great to see your faces again. Hope you are both
I find that
well.
so bonkers. Like if someone was to have, I genuinely thought if someone was to drop 10 grand into my bank account now, immediately the alarm bells would be ringing somewhere. The bank would be ringing me and saying, "Look, so 10 grand just gone to your account. Can you clarify what it's for, please?" And he'd be like, "Yeah, I just sold 100 I've just sold 10 PS4s on Facebook Marketplace, and this is the money for it."
Which I mean, that'd be fine as well, because your bank manager go, "Okay, great, that's not illegal."
Become best friends.
Because we used to work in digital banking. If you got large amounts of money in, you had to ask questions. It was it's a counter-terrorism thing. If people are selling things, then it could be to fund bigger, horrendous things. So you had to ask the questions. But if it was less than 10 grand, then yeah, we're not bothered. If it's close to 10 grand regularly, if you can see it on the statements that it was 9,999, so it's not triggering alarms, you have to ask questions. But even still, I sold a car. All right, nice. I sold another car. All right, nice. What are they going to do about it? Okay, well, did you pay your tax on it? Yeah. Oh, okay.
That's where my naivety comes into it, because obviously I've never handled that amount of money anyway. So having, regardless of what Gary says, by the way, I haven't got 14 Lamborghinis on the drive. Don't even have a drive.
No, he doesn't. He has his own moat. The cars don't come over the moat. He gets
our garage. But no, like handling that amount of money, I genuinely thought, well, again, that just shows my naivety when it comes to stuff like this. If someone's made £28 million somewhere off of all the scalping collectively, and there's a group that are doing it, then I still genuinely don't know how this is going to pass through any kind of court or. Oh my god!
What? Okay, I can't see 10 tier 1 subs. Enix, you absolute machine. Okay.
Stay frosty.
Right, I'm going to put a pin in my comment because that is definitely worth cutting. Enix, you absolute shagger.
I am going to jump back a little bit and also say, Pirates, you absolute hero. Thank you very much for the 14-month sub. I did hear that come in, and then thank you very much for the host after that. Mimicking, thank you very much for the follow. But Enix dropping 10 subs. You're gonna hear "Stay Frosty," yeah, over and over and over again, because yeah, nice. Enix, what a guy. Thank you very much, Jordan. Much appreciated. That is ridiculous. If you did get a gifted sub, feel free to say thank you. Obviously, it's something nice to do that, and that takes Enix all the way up to first place in the all-time gifted subs chart. Thank you very much. What a guy.
Thank you so much, mate. Appreciate it. That is mental.
Okay, I'm jumping back.
Stay frosty.
Mimicking says, hello, I am the E. Hey! Mr. Buzz, welcome back, Graham. Thank you very much, dude. Going great, guys. How's it going? Yeah, not too bad. Slightly coroned. Still dealing with the after effects of it, but I'm healthy. It's good. Skids is my brother, says Tharian Drake. Hey! As in, what are we talking like? Brother from another mother, or brother from same mother? What are we saying? But thank you very much, Skids and Cones, for the raid as well. I mean, I appreciate the fact that you've got cones in your name and you've raided ice cream, so that's everyone loves an ice cream cone. Nice. For a lot of small tax frauds, someone has to report you for them to actually know. Exactly. That's the point. Like, 10 grand's not. I mean, for most people, 10 grand's a huge amount of money.
That's life-changing. Yeah.
But in that sort of sense, 10 grand doesn't. It's not a drop in the ocean. You don't even notice the drop, kind of thing, in that sort of sense. Trying to look at all of it. I'm saying lots of thanks for the 2020 Unity and thingy mode. So thank you once again, Enix, for the 10 gifties. What a guy! Thank you very much.
Pirates comment. Did you both do this to make me jealous, wearing 2 times of ICU blackout hats? Absolutely. We knew you'd be dropping in today,
mate. Catching up. Enix has sold some new consoles. This is what happens when you've got 28 million's worth of sales.
Exactly. This is just money laundering to him now.
Yeah, this is how he cleans it. He puts it into our account through Amazon, and jobs are good. Yeah, this was all part of the heist. This is it. Yeah, nice. I'm just here instead of paying attention, math right now, because I have no idea what I'm doing. But
money in the chat.
No. Okay, let's move ahead. So just to recap that bit for anyone that may have been late in, or if you just joined from the raid, UK politicians are calling for action against PS5 and Xbox Series S and X scalpers and tech scalpers. That's not just limited to that. Obviously, there's all sorts of things with PC components, new graphics cards, and so on. That's been an issue for the last few years, at least. So they're looking at bringing in something to curb that. One thing I will mention before before we do move on, though, is that I did see this article on a different website, and it said that this has been started by, where was it? 6 Scottish National Party. Excuse me. they tabled the early day motion. The early day motion is basically a debate. That's all they've done. They've not started anything. All they've done is started the debate on this. So this could just be a conversation that stops and goes nowhere. But the key thing for us is that 15 MPs have backed it. None of them, I believe, are Conservatives, and they are in power. So if nobody from the ruling party backs this, then it kind of is a little bit of a dead rubber. It's not really going to go anywhere if the governing powers aren't going to get behind that. Not that I'm saying that anybody else in Parliament is useless. That's definitely not the point. But you need numbers. You need actual action for this to happen. And I don't think much will come from this. It could just be a fashionable flash in the pan, and 6 Scottish National Party maybe want a few column inches. Hopefully it does turn into something more than that. But I mean, anyone who buys Jordans, or not NX Jordan, like Trainers Jordan. Anyone who buys Jordans will know that it's an absolute farce trying to get yourself trainers.
Or richly.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not just technology industries that could benefit from better online systems. I think that's just something society in general could benefit from. I would welcome something that stops this, though. It's just, as Bib mentioned earlier on, it's gonna be difficult because, you know, capitalism. But as Robo Daniel says in the chat so elegantly, fuck scalpers. That's me. Yes, I'm late, but yeah, fuck them. Counter argument, capitalism. Yeah, that's kind of what we were talking about leading up to that. Oh, one thing I do want to mention as well, though, is it triggers me when I'm sat at home in my deathbed listening to Bibby calling you Robbo. Robo. Like Robocop.
I thought it was Robbo. I thought he think he what do you call it when you split it out?
Split it out?
Like Rob Bo.
Did it?
What do you call that?
Was it? Did he not like Robo? Did you not like ROBOH or whatever? Is it not? Okay, I thought when he did spell it out, he spelled it as Robo, as in like RoboCop, Robo Daniel.
See, I initially thought that, and I've been calling him Robbo because I thought I remembered him like, what do you call that? Literally, where someone puts Rob Bo and then they split it out into syllables.
Robot. Yeah, there you go. So Robo Daniel. Yeah. Robot Daniel.
Well, you've always been Robbo to me.
Yeah, but then not to be confused with Robbo City in the chat as well, because that one is Robbo.
Phonetics. Well done. I knew Jess would know. I knew Jess would know. Well done, Jess. Thank you very much. NX also put, anyways, happy Christmas and get well soon, Graham. That's my Christmas present for my old colleagues. You fucking lovely man.
Hey. Robot Daniel, J equals Y in Scandinavian languages. See, all I'm saying is I nailed it. All I'm saying is I nailed it.
I'll give you that one, Graham.
I get Robbo all the time. It's also acceptable. It's fine. This is bye-bye. And I'm Graham. It's fine. Anyway, let's jump into the next bit of news. And do you know, it's been ages since we spoke about CD Projekt Red. We didn't even mean to speak about him. We spoke about him for 10 minutes before.
Yeah.
So let's jump back in. This one isn't about Cyberpunk, though. This one's a little bit different. As Patrick Dane of VG247 says, do you know what, actually, let me stop for a second. Talking about pronunciations. I don't know how to pronounce this, just because I've never heard it being said by an official source. Is it GOG, or is it GOG? GOG.com. GOG, GOG.
You see, I've always known it as GOG.
See,
I've always known it as GOG.
I say GOG, but then I'm just thinking, am I just like GOG, and everyone else is like, what?
Yeah, I've always. If ever I talk about GOG, I always mention it as GOG. I don't think I've ever seen anyone talk about it and split out G. Have you been on a GOG recently? That makes for no sense to me. It's always GOG.
Oh, Daniel and Gary have to fight in the chat now. One says GOG, one says GOG. I mean, I like GOG and I like GOG, but which one's better? Anyway, let's jump back in. As GOG or GOG cancels Devotion's release just hours after announcement. Devotion had a moment of hope, but it was just a moment. Excuse me 1 second. Devotion has had a complicated life since it was released in February of last year. The game famously was taken off of Steam after it was found to contain a meme of Chinese President Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh. Chinese censors have been... What the fuck? I completely missed that. There you go. Anyway, Chinese censors have been very strict about images suggesting a resemblance between the president and the Disney character. The game was viciously review bombed by Chinese players, and eventually Taiwanese developer Red Candle Games apologized for the incident before the game mysteriously disappeared from Valve's storefront. Red Candle said this was due to a technical issue. It never returned. In July last year, Chinese publisher of the game, Devon, lost its business license from the Chinese government, supposedly directly due to the incident. The game saw physical release earlier this year in Taiwan, but it has remained out of reach of many international players. That seemed like it might change today when it was announced that Devotion would become a CD Projekt storefront. GOG, or GOG, developer Red Candle tweeted. Excuse me. Hello friends, we want to share with you Red Candle will publish on December 18th on GOG.com. The content and price of the release remains the same. $16.99 or €13.99. Thank you for your trust and support. We wish you a happy end of the year. The hope was short-lived, though. It appears just mere hours after the game's announcement, GOG announced that due to outrage from gamers, quote marks, they had gone back on their decision to sell the game. It's not exactly clear how and where this backlash came from, or quite how it manifested. Whatever happened, though, it seems to have been big enough response to give GOG cold feet about the release. It's a sad story for the game, which was well received by critics. The horror garnered great reviews on its release, and it's a shame many players, especially those looking for a good scare, haven't been able to buy the game for a long time. Bib.
Yes.
Thoughts?
Before we move on to that, I've just absolutely pissed myself. I don't know whether or not you heard me laughing during that. But everyone's like trying to decipher how they say GOG. Gary said, I might start calling it IKEA, IKEA.
Do you know, I'm not a fan of comments like that. GARI. Anyway, what do you think of this, Bibber?
BINHO. Yeah. I actually really wanted to play this. I kept my eye on this for quite a while. In fact, I think I may have even tweeted about this a couple of years ago because it looked terrifying. But this article, albeit it goes over why it isn't being released, it doesn't really go into the detail. So placeholders put into the game. So obviously when people are developing games, they usually put placeholders in there. So they'll come back to those textures later on, change them up, whether or not they can make them, I don't know, a better resolution or make it slightly darker and change the aesthetic of the room. I sound like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to stuff like that, but basically we just leave it as you have placeholders in video games and then they'll come back to them later on. That's all you need to know. However, the placeholder of this was a meme of the Chinese president as Winnie the Pooh. Funny as that is, that's obviously the culture over in China is completely different than what it's like over here. As we rip the piss out of our prime minister on a daily basis, the news even does it. Over there, it's like a death sentence. So this kind of thing does not fly. It's got taken off of shelves. There is people who've tried to download this in not very legal ways over in China, and the Chinese authorities have been breaking down their doors and putting them in prison for such things. It's not a good thing over in that part of the world. So yeah, this obviously has been taken down, review bombed, and you cannot buy this game anywhere. The reason why this was big news is because this was the first time since the early parts of the year that you was able to try and download and play this game legally by giving money. Unfortunately, it's not being sold anywhere. You can't buy it on Steam. You can't buy it on any websites. They had a very small physical release in Taiwan, and then that's gone. You literally can't buy this game to play it anywhere. The only way you can play it is obviously if you download it illegally, which is why I haven't downloaded it and I haven't been able to play it. But yeah, it's such a shame because this was massively critically acclaimed, shall we say. It's a very good model of a horror game. It had hit all the right notes. It made you absolutely shit your pants. And that's the kind of survival horror game that I want. And unfortunately, we won't be able to play it anytime soon. It looks like... Have you been able to click the link to the GOG tweet? If you can click the tweet and you can read the comments are scathing, basically.
I've currently got the video playing, but let me have a look.
this is a lot of people have taken this badly, shall we say? With no one they've mentioned here that you got many messages from gamers. We've decided not to list the game store or list on the game store. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think it's anything to do with gamers. Gamers have been wanting to play this. I reckon they've had chills thrown up them from somewhere authoritarian,
Yeah,
shall we say?
yeah, I'd agree with that. Okay, there we go. I have the tweet there now. So earlier today, it was announced that the game Devotion is coming to GOG. After receiving many messages from gamers, we have decided not to list the game in our store. Someone's posted as Xi Jinping. Hello, I'm a big gamer. Please take this game down. I don't want this game. Yeah, I mean this is this is a re-emergence of a conversation that was all over the scoop 12 months ago. So if we go back 12 months, we were talking about Blitzchung and the silencing of Blitzchung and the casters and anyone else that was on the was it Hearthstone?
Yes, it was the esports Hearthstone, wasn't it? Yeah.
Basically, Blitzchung was a competitive Hearthstone player who said, what was it? Kind of like
it's like free China or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something along those lines. Stating that he's on the side of. No, was it China? It was against China, I think it was.
You know, we covered this story for like 3 months straight, and we still haven't got the facts right. It's been 12 months, so
yeah,
give us a break.
I can't remember the details, so I'm probably going to butcher it. I apologise. So he obviously Blitzchung was banned from all competition, lost all his prize money, and the casters were also banned. That was then chopped down in half a little bit because of a lot of the backlash that Activision Blizzard had, and a lot of that backlash came from its own staff saying freedom of speech and accepting other people's opinions is one of the core values that they have literally in concrete, in stone at their headquarters. It's their core beliefs of the business. But they went back on that as a basis of capitalism. Obviously, China is a very large economy and has a very, very large amount of sway with the amount of money and lack of money that it could lead to if you get on the wrong side of them. So anyway, Activision Blizzard, from a business perspective, we're probably in a rock and a hard place. But from an ideological perspective, the two things can contrast at loggerheads. Do you look after your profits and make sure one of your largest financial regions is happy, or do you look after your beliefs? And it's one of those ethics versus business sort of trade-off kind of thing. Obviously, make whichever decision you feel is fine. And that is kind of where we are now with this GOG.com. By saying that they've received messages from many gamers and they've decided not to put the game in the store. Which gamers? What gamers have these? I mean, the fact that there's just that it says we've received messages from many gamers. Where's the evidence? I'm a gamer. I didn't even know that it was coming onto the store, let alone being pulled, kind of thing. I didn't even know that the game had Xi Jinping as Winnie the Pooh. I mean, now I know this. I want to see this kind of thing. So, yeah, it's that. The bit that annoys me about this is I don't know enough about the situation between Taiwan and China and all of the unrest. I don't know enough. I'm not qualified to talk on that. But what I do know is how ignorant it is to just go, gamers don't want this, so we're not going to do it, and assuming that people will take that as that is enough information. It's like, you don't want it, it's fine. It's like, no, you're making decisions for me, telling me that that people like me have made the decisions, and you've acted on it, and it's actually for something completely different. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not happy with that at all.
Yeah, I think this just comes down to transparency again, doesn't it? I mean, obviously you know this because you've read the news article this morning. I was looking forward to this game. I know that it wasn't around for so long, and I know the reason why. But again, they need to look after their own profits. Let's be honest about it. They need to. China is a massive, massive, massive cash generator for them, clearly. And if the authoritarians say, if you release this, we're pulling the plug, that's it's obvious. They obviously don't want to throw anyone in China under the bus as well. So again, could they not have? I don't think anyone would have batted an eyelid if it didn't get announced that it was coming in the first place. People would just still be fighting to be able to play this game, but they'll wait for an avenue for it to be able to come somewhere else down the line. That's obviously why Steam have pulled it as well. It's just gamers, under the bracket of gamers. Am I just being too precious about that when it comes to? I've received many messages from many gamers. Am I being too precious about the word gamers? Because people who may be the most pissed about this will be gamers in China as well. Like, I don't know. I'm in a completely different culture over here in Europe. Do you know what I mean? I don't necessarily know the day in and day out lifestyle of how they are over in China. But it shows that there is obviously influence somewhere down the line for this to be pulled within hours of the announcement coming up.
The issue, though, is when those international borders start to be eroded. Asim's comment, China is a big market. They don't want to piss them off, hence this decision. Simple. Like when Arsenal silenced or didn't agree with Ozil's comments about the treatment of Muslims in China, they distanced themselves from it. Even though Ozil was right to speak up, didn't want to lose Chinese revenue. And that's the thing. There was it an NBA? I'm pretty sure it was a basketball. It might have been NFL. It was definitely an American sport anyway. And the franchise that he played, whatever sport it was for, had a shitload of merch being sold in China. This individual sports star came out and said something against China, so that China reacted, and all merch sold by that franchise, so not the player but his team. It's like, imagine Beckham at United, and then Beckham says something and United gets blacklisted from China. You can't sell United things. That happened. His franchise, despite the fact that his franchise, that the team that he played for, said this has nothing to do with us, that team was basically excommunicated. They were selling a shitload of merchandise in China. All of a sudden, they sell absolutely nothing in China, and that's the thing. Is like the amount of pressure that, because it's such a large market, it can have an influence outside of its own market. Because surely Chinese people should be able to impact on their own culture and their own society. Absolutely, just like any other culture should be able to do that. But is it right for Chinese culture to impact on other cultures? And that's where you start to go down a rabbit hole of how much input should they have at someone else's table. You've got your own table. You have a seat at your own table. You control what gets said, what you consume at your table. But should you be able to control what you consume at my table? And because they are so big in terms of an economy, that is where the issues come in. Is this, they are overstepping? They're stepping into other areas and making decisions for others in that sort of sense. It's happened in quite a few different things: film, TV, video games, sports. It's huge. It's huge.
Asim's comment there with the Ozil thing is mental, though, isn't it? Because how many campaigns have we got on about it around the world about equality and stuff like that? But yeah, if it messes with your top line finances, all that shit goes out the window. It's mental, isn't it? It's genuinely mental.
Let me just jump back through the comments. Madge says GOG stands for Good Old Games, as does KC Dice. Jess says, according to GOG.com, in 2010 it says GOG like dog. Nice, there we go. Also, GOG members are GOGgers, spelt with one G, but pronounced doggers. Nice. You learn something new every day. Placeholders, if you believe that in this instance you need to wake up. There may also be a dogger, who knows? If GOGgers are pronounced doggers, then GOGgers poggers. I mean, what?
To be fair, though, it wouldn't surprise me if it was that the place.
I think we've lost you again. Oh, he's gone. And he's back. There you go.
Hello.
It wouldn't surprise me. What did you say?
It wouldn't surprise me, though. Like when it comes down to placeholders and stuff like that, they get left in games all the time, like all of the time. But this just so happened to poke fun at obviously a leader over in China, which is a big no-no. It's unfortunate for them, but it's just the way it is. You run the risk of shit like that all the time.
There you go, Gary Clark saying that was Daryl Morey, former GM of the Houston Rockets and now GM of the Sixers, that spoke out about China. Exactly, China are basically the real life controlling everything behind the scenes. Once again, Kojima got it right. You goddamn right. And that, I mean, that's the thing though. Is the size and scale of their input. I mean, Tito's comment, where's it gone? There's a reason why China invests in Hollywood and game publishers, gives them extraordinary leverage to control output. Recent being one of the biggest, including PUBG. Tencent has a share in pretty much everything. Tencent has a share in, I believe they have a large share in Epic, as well as obviously Krafton, and shitloads of film corporations. I mean, I've had meetings with Tencent in LA. Well, some of Tencent's subsidiaries and stuff. They are huge. They definitely do get everywhere. It's not necessarily saying that Tencent is a horrendous organisation. Not by any stretch of the imagination. Because you can't obviously label everyone with one brush. Yeah, you can't paint everyone with one brush, kind of thing. But it lets you see just how far. And if China has such, how can I say it? Such a controlling hand that if you depict the one of their politicians as looking like Winnie the Pooh, and you're going to lose your business license, that's happened as the company that created that game has lost its business license in China just because of that. If they can have that much sway over the way that you show someone as an image, then yeah, in their own country, I'm fucking losing my train of thought. Long story short, they have a shitload of power, and yeah, it just doesn't. It's contrasting to our human rights. If we, how can I put it? I want to use big words, but I'm not in a frame of mind to use big words. Yeah, exactly. I mean, is it democratic to allow China to come in and just choose what is right for everyone from the top? I mean, I would say it's not, which is fine if you don't live in a democracy, but we do. So is that right? I don't know. You tell me. Look at movie releases now in China, absolutely huge. Graham's a Chinese plant. What, like a bonsai? Oh no, is that? I don't know. That's Japanese, isn't it? I don't know. I never thought I'd find interest in this, but this is Pog. Star Wars dropping John Boyega from their movie posters in China. Mad. Did that happen? As far as I'm concerned, if your ruling body can't handle criticism, then it's too weak to run a country. Do you know what? I agree with that sentiment. That said, I agree with that sentiment because I'm from a different cultural background, so that could be my echo chamber. Just because I agree with it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing. But that's the point. I'm from a different echo chamber. I'm from the West. I'm not from the East. I have a different culture. So that's why the things are clashing and contrasting. What's fine for us in the West might not be great for everyone else in the East, and so on. We don't all have to follow exactly the same thing. We can all live our own cultures, our own thoughts and decisions, and that's where the underlying problem is the fact that it's the borders, be it geographically or be it culturally, are being eroded, and people are having input into other cultures, and that's probably where the issue for me comes from. Authoritarian country controlling their people through fear. Imagine if things were like that in the UK. People take the piss out of Boris every second of the day. We'd be fudged. Absolutely. Yeah. Not dropped, but he was made smaller and pushed to the back of the poster. Bonsai is Japanese. There you go. But China doesn't live in a democracy. Exactly. That's the point. Yeah, that's what I mean. Star Wars China. Let's have a look at this. Oh, okay. Cookies for days. Okay. Do you know what? I'm just gonna bring it up quickly. John Boyega, huge section on the poster, and then tiny section in the poster. That's shocking. That's shocking. Bits in it. Bacon chin. Hey. Dropping the 100 bits. Thank you very much, dude. Oh, I am
stuck in a loop.
I'm just trying to get rid of all the cookie jobby stuff. There we go. So yeah, anyway, enough on that GOG has cancelled Devotion's release. It just says that it's at the request of gamers. I think can all be pretty much certain that. I mean, we're all gamers. None of us have requested it to be cancelled. Does anyone know a gamer that's had a request for it to be cancelled? I don't mind it being cancelled if I'm being honest. I mean, I wasn't going to play it, so it doesn't fuss me that directly personally in that sense. My issue though is how easy it is for something to just be removed, for censorship to just happen. At the request of gamers, censorship without any recompense, without any comeuppance. The fact that there is no rhyme, no reason, no planned out, thought out. This is who's said it. This is when it happened, and this is the action that's going to be taken. And to rectify it, for it to come back on the store, this could happen. The fact that it's just an absolute swing of the blade, and yeah, that is what it is. You just got to accept it. That's the bit that I don't like. Like, yeah, it's just. That's shit. It's shit. For me, that is shit. I'd not heard of Devotion, and I probably wasn't going to play Devotion. But now I know about it, and now it's a bit shit. That's me. America's PC culture has leaked over a lot. Never even heard of Devotion before today, said Casey Dassam. Same. If you get that scared that you ban Doctor Who because that time travels to the past and changes things because it might give your people ideas if time travel exists. What? Oh, do you know what? Let's put a pin. Let's put a pin in that because that's just baffling. Be a big issue if it was GTA or something. I mean,
would it though? Would it be a big issue still, or is it still the same issue? Is it because it's an indie game? Is it? Have I just completely got that wrong? Is that what he's trying to say?
Yeah,
because it was an indie game.
Because it's Devotion, it's forgotten. If it was GTA, it'd be something different.
Yeah.
So yeah, more people would be bothered. There you go. Yeah, and that's the thing though. It would definitely be a bigger talking point. But then again, Hearthstone's quite big, and they made changes. And I mean that was a big talking point. I mean, we've since forgotten it, but we were speaking about it for like 2 months, the whole Blitzchung thing, and then they had BlizzCon, which was going to get potentially panned, and so yeah, I mean, it will have big impacts using bigger brands, bigger games, but will it live long in the memory of gamers? Maybe not, because Blitzchung and the whole Hearthstone thing happened, and now Devotion's been squashed, and GOG didn't even think about explaining why. They just did it. So yeah, anyway, let's put a pin in that. Let's move ahead. Something else that you're not going to be able to play anytime soon, EA Play. This on Game Pass for PC, but it has been delayed into 2021. More details expected early next year. This is written by Matt Wales at Eurogamer, and it says Microsoft has announced EA Play will no longer be joining Game Pass for PC this month, as was originally planned, with the two services now expected to join hands sometime in 2021. In a short statement released through its Xbox Wire news service, Microsoft wrote, "When we originally set out to write this blog post, which would announce the availability of EA Play on PC with Xbox Game Pass, it looked a little bit different. Unfortunately, what had been a celebratory post is now one asking for a little more patience. Despite initially announcing EA Play, which includes access to EA's library of games and early trials for new releases, would be made available to Game Pass for PC and Ultimate subscribers in December, Microsoft says it has now made the decision to delay the launch until 2021. We knew we could provide a great experience for members by working together with EA," the statement continues by way of an explanation. "In order to deliver on that, we need more time to provide the Xbox Game Pass experience. Although Microsoft is yet to offer a revised arrival date for the service beyond that extremely vague 2021, the company says it will have more to share early next year. EA Play has been available through Game Pass for consoles since the 10th of November, and availability there is unaffected by today's announcement." You thinking about playing Game Pass on PC?
I've got Game Pass for PC. It's. I mean, with the amount of games that are on Game Pass at the moment, I'm not really missing anything. I think the things that you probably would be missing are just your sports games, really. I haven't looked into EA Play at all, if I'm being brutally honest, because I've got too many games on my radar that I need to get finished before I move on to another one. That's why I've not even started properly Assassin's Creed, because I'm still playing Days Gone, which I'm still super stuck on. But yeah, it doesn't really interest me. I mean, it'll piss a lot of people off, no end, I think, because you're promising something to come to something and then it's been delayed again. The nature of the beast, people get upset about stuff like that. But I look forward to it when it comes next year. I mean, I'm getting something extra, something that I'm already paying for. Someone's getting tacked on top of it. That's quite nice. But at this moment in time, it doesn't really bother me. Does it bother you at all?
Just want to mention, you're playing Days Gone. You should mention that a bit more often, babe. I don't think you mentioned that.
Listen, it's one of my games of the year this year. So,
Well,
I mean, you didn't even mention that. Yeah. I'll carry on mentioning it. I will. I mean, I think Gary Clark started it last night as well. So clearly, whatever I'm saying is resonating with someone somewhere, and that's all I'm asked about, Graham.
It's not called Gary. It's called Garrity, actually.
Gari.
Certainly, this topic is worthy of several dedicated scoops. I'm assuming that was regarding the China situation. Yeah, I mean, not only would it require several dedicated scoops, it would probably require several periods of research, so I had a bit more knowledge about what I was speaking about, because I don't feel like I could do that sort of political and cultural, societal breakdown of another nation and international boundaries and stuff. I don't think I have enough in me to do that well enough. But talking about play on Game Pass for PC, yeah, we can do that. That's nice. Yeah, nice. Not heard this story yet, says Madge. Salty Dog says, is The Godfather on EA Play? It's the only EA game I liked from PS2.
Great game. Got it on the shelf somewhere behind me. Yeah. Surprise.
We've got to see it now. Go. You've got to commit to it, babe. I've got it for PC. Looked at EA Play the other day. Got sports plus Star Wars games and Sims. Gary Clark says, great game. Bib in his Lamborghinis tempted me to play it. Battlefield and NFS. I mean, if you're gonna say Need for Speed, then you need to have like brum dum 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 dum. Oh, baby's struggling. He lied.
Pull games out. I've got to pull games out.
Well, while we're talking about EA, while Baby has a look, I will jump on to the next story so we can start to wrap things up for today. This one is written by Yin-Poole for Eurogamer. It says, FIFA 21 players are using their own golden goal rule to beat the Ultimate Team grind. So the FIFA 21 Ultimate Team grind is real if you don't splash the cash on loot boxes, that is. So to speed things up a bit, players have come together to create their own unspoken golden goal rule. This unofficial rule was sparked by the release of the first batch of icon swaps rewards. These tokens are eventually swapped for powerful icon cards for the likes of a 90 rated Thierry Henry, a 90 rated Frank Rijkaard, and a 91 rated Prime Ronald Koeman. To get these tokens, you need to complete objectives, and the first 8 of these are live now. 5 are completed in the live Foot Friendlies playlist, and 3 in squad battles, Ultimate Team versus the AI. Here's where the grind comes in. To get all the tokens currently available, you need an eye-watering 45 wins. That's 15 hours of play if you do nothing but win, of course. In response, the FIFA community has come up with a golden goal rule. The idea is simple. If your opponent scores the opening goal of the game, concede straight away. The hope is, if you are to score first, your opponent will do the same. If you're 1-0 up and your opponent concedes, you register the win. And because this is just a friendly, there's no penalty for conceding and no blemish on your record. When I first saw word of this golden goal rule, I was sceptical of its take-up, but I've spent a few hours playing live Foot Friendlies, and it seems pretty widespread. During most of my games in which I've gone 1-0 up, my opponent has conceded. I've conceded when I've fallen behind. Hopefully, my opponent knows why. This rule has already sparked much debate among FIFA players. It has sprung up yet another way to be toxic in FIFA competitive play, with some pausing the game and celebrating after a goal in order to annoy their opponent. The etiquette, it seems, is to skip the celebration and let your opponent pause the game as quickly as possible. Redditor Andrew Rov listed some rules for playing in friendly matches to avoid a toxicity and keep the mode as fun as possible. Top of the list is to continue to play the match normally if your opponent doesn't quit after you score a goal. They may not know about the community movement after all. I like the golden goal, but if people celebrates or pauses after they score, then I won't quit, said Redditor I call Rose 87. Few games I was about to leave, but then my opponent began to celebrate and pausing. I played the whole game. It's about respect for each other. Don't be an asshole and don't expect that everyone quits after the first goal. Some of us are playing for fun. People stress too much about the game. Just reminding, this is only a game. It remains to be seen what EA makes of all this. I doubt it's exactly what the developers intended with icon swaps objectives, but I'd like to think they will leave this one alone. It's rare to see FIFA players come together in any sort of community-driven sense for Ultimate Team without it descending into a steaming pile of toxicity. So far, so good with this golden goal rule. Bib,
That's class, isn't it?
thoughts?
Yeah, I think that's mega. Like, before I read the article, I had no idea that this was a thing. When I saw it, I thought this is class. How do you police it though? Unless you're a hardcore foot player. I'm not a foot player, so I had no idea that this rule existed. And if you don't go on Reddit or you don't use Twitter that often, how do you know that this is even a real thing? It's only really for the hardcore that'll probably know about it, which is why people probably get pissed off when someone's celebrating watching replays and then playing out the entire match if they end up going 1-0 down. People are just playing for fun, like it said at the bottom of the article. But if you are in the foot universe and you are live and die by playing this for 23 of the 24 hours available every day, this is mental. This is so good. I've seen ads there just saying he got all of his within 5 hours, but I know he's foot mad, so he will have known all this stuff anyway. But yeah, I think this is class. It's just a way to try and speed things up. It keeps the toxicity down to a degree. I mean, I hate that word toxicity. I think it gets used far too much. When it's probably not needed in most instances, so it kind of loses its aggression with the word itself. But yeah, I think this is massively a massive thing for the foot community if you want to try and speed this thing up. I like the fact the golden goal could come at any point. It could come 5 minutes into the game or the 85th minute, who knows? But
Kick-off glitch.
It's a good job that you can't pair up with your friends on this. Like if you both press X at the same time, you both get paired up. Otherwise, you'd just be trading wins 45 times.
Jumping back through the chat, Madge says, no, they don't have loot boxes, remember. It's surprise mechanics. That's a good point. Very good point. I got all mine within 5 hours, Ads says you said that. That makes sense. I thought it was just a lot of rage quitters. Fair play, as it did speed up all the objectives. Enjoy, Samaldo. Hey. Mr. Shogun Ash says, Graham, you're alive! Ish, I do have a ceiling, which I just hit them with my voice. I can't go too excited. My throat's still not 100%. But yeah, thanks, mate. I did. Oh, speaking of show, and Bib, and Ravi, who's probably not here, and Pirate, who's also here. I did see the white Disaronno Velvet Liqueur conversation this morning. I have 2 bottles of that. Well, I have 1 and a bit bottle of that. 1 is almost gone. So yeah, it's good shit. EA don't approve. Says it adds after 10 games you can't play any more games for 2 hours. Really? Okay. Pirate says I'm new to foot, but people have been doing this since I started playing. In the friendly modes, when you were going for the grind, people just are a lot more happy to play things out. Taunting is games aren't toxic. It's just a bit of fun. Pirate says example. I sent a message to someone saying I don't need the win. Just an assist. He said he needed 5 goals, and we just swapped it out. That's quality. I love that shit. See, my issue is like there's a disconnect there. Like you're playing the game for fun, which that's what we all play games for. For something, you want something out of that game, enjoyment, fun, whatever it is. You want something out of it, and if that game is forcing you to grind out 45 wins and that should be an opportunity to play 15 hours of fun. And if they're trying to make you play 15 hours minimum, that's providing you get wins, and people are having to find ways to go around the grind. That's the core of the game. The core of the game is a grind, and that's the issue for me. Is I don't mind the game having a grind. I don't mind the game having something that you keep playing, keep coming back to, something that gives you a shelf life, an aspirational target, stretch goals if needs be. But if it's such a stretch that people are having to find ways around it, then your mechanisms are wrong. If people are looking for ways, if it's just a case of they want to get it quickly, okay, that's fine. That's people just wanting to circumvent time. But if people just don't want to do the grind, then you as a developer have put in. You've made a mistake. You have what you're asking your community to do is something that they don't want to do. You don't understand what they are after, or what, or you value your product too highly that you're expecting people to go, yeah, okay, I will put 15 solid hours minimum into this just to get that one thing. And if people aren't going to do it, then you've made a mistake as a developer. So, yeah, I mean, fair play to the community for finding a way around it. Absolutely expect EA to squash that because yeah, they don't want you to be happy. They want you to do what they want. But yeah, EA are now capping games from what I saw, as in needing to complete certain objectives within a certain amount of games, unfortunately bringing back the toxicity. It shows that they've made a mistake. If people are trying to get around it, something they've done is wrong. Something doesn't balance. It's not necessarily a mistake in terms of it's broken or there's a glitch, but what they're asking people to do and what they value their value perception is wrong. People don't have the same value perception as they do. They see 15 hours minimum, yeah, that's fine. People don't see that as fine. People see it as, okay, that's a cost that I'm not gonna put into it. I want to play the game, but you're asking too much of me. They don't see that. So people have found a way around it. EA are going to find a way to force them back into an imbalanced cost-benefit analysis, which, yeah, it's odd. But do you know what? It is what it is. I mean, does anyone else play FIFA? Has anyone else been playing golden goal rule stuff? Has anyone else been seeing people quit without understanding? And does that make sense now? Why? Trying to force people to quit by playing the game in a shitey way. Trying to force people to quit by playing the game in a shitey way. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what you mean.
The golden people don't want to play for golden goal because they'll be looking at more than just that. People playing for I assume, I don't play football. I imagine there's more on the line for other people as well, rather than just the golden goal, get 45 wins. There might be something like get 5 assists or 5 goals, but then you score 1 goal. The person who you're trying to get the 5 goals against ends up going offline or ends up quitting the game. Is there more to it? I've no idea. I genuinely have no idea.
Oh, I've seen his second comment now. It kind of adds a bit more to it. They're trying to force people to quit by playing the game in a shitty way or maxing out the celebration, pausing the game for time, just being toxic for the sake of being toxic. I mean, that exists anyway. That's always kind of exists. How many times have you gone into a game and you'll be sat there while someone uses every second of their pause time pre-match, and then you get into the match, and as soon as the game starts, paused. It's like, fuck's sake. So, yeah, there's definitely toxicity in that. Some of it, fine. Sometimes you'll start a game and something happens in your house. You're called, someone comes to the door, the phone rings or whatever. But some people are just dickheads with it. Some people absolutely are. But, yeah, I mean, that all kind of comes into it. The fact that shows that can be a thing. If people are sweaty and grindy, then it's not necessarily. I don't think it's really fair to say it as toxic because it's competition. Sometimes competition can be ugly. Doesn't necessarily mean it's toxic. I mean, it's easy to class it as toxic, but it doesn't necessarily mean it always is. Some people might just be sweaty, which is fine. It's a perfect tactic. Just like parking the bus in a game of football, or long ball, or sticking a boot on someone, or like. There's different ways of playing the game. Some of them are prettier, some of them are not as pretty. But that's the point, is whether they're pretty or not, that's where you get the cost-benefit analysis. If you weigh everything up, and you've got 15 hours of playing the way that Arsenal want to play football, then my God, that's going to be incredible. But if you've got 15 hours of playing the way that Stoke are known for playing football, then, okay, my God, that's going to be an absolute chore. And that's the thing is, EA clearly aren't weighing that up, and they're just seeing the Barcelona-esque, the Galactico football. They're not seeing a United midfield with McTominay next to Matic. Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I've not even mentioned Fred yet. Anyway, yeah, it's the cost benefit. If you add in the elements that you could class as being sweaty or toxic or whatever, there's a reason that people are wanting to circumvent that. Is because forcing people to grind something that is inherently repetitive. Football, by definition, is repetitive because you've got 90 minutes kicking a ball into the goal. Same teams. Yes, the narrative, just like a game of PUBG, is different. Like a game of Fortnite is different from match to match. But by forcing people to have that repetitive nature, you're putting them into a grind, so that people are going to want to circumvent it. If they do want to circumvent it, find ways to stop them that inspires them to keep playing, rather than just forcing them back into the grind.
That's the thing when it comes to football. Like I say, it's the same thing over and over again. You're kicking around a football trying to score goals. It's not like a battle royale. Like you for PUBG, you're the only person I know that goes out and maxes out their entirety of the daily missions and their battle pass every single time a new one comes out, because every single match is different. You're getting different guns. You have to kill people different ways. You have to use a certain amount of health packs. You need to res someone a certain amount of times. That by definition is the same thing with different elements. But yeah, with football, what can you do really? I mean, football games generally are the most, again, using this word, it comes down to toxic. People want to win. It's something that I mentioned either yesterday or the day before. As soon as you step onto the online football field, you want to win. And winning is absolutely everything, even in friendly modes, because what's on the line? Icons. It's a massive thing to put in a friendly environment. I know it's the quickest way that people may end up getting it, but you're putting something so sought after into an online environment, into a friendly environment, be that, and people want to end up getting it. It's at the end of the day, it's you are putting it's if it takes 15 hours. 15 hours is a long time. You can complete a lot of games in 15 hours, yet you're spending it online playing FIFA. If that's it, if that is your fun time, that is, who am I to judge? Who am I to judge when it comes to that sort of stuff? But 15 hours is a long time to grind out for anything, whether or not it be a new piece of armor in Elder Scrolls Online, a new mount for World of Warcraft, or just completing a video game. 15 hours is a long time, regardless of how you put it, and you want to try and get it done as fast as possible.
Yeah, see, that's something I didn't even twig as someone that has FIFA but hasn't really played FIFA, is the friendly element. I didn't even twig that this is icon stuff put into friendlies. Like Pirate was mentioning there, I don't mind sweaty in most ways, but considering the friendly mode was there and people were actually being friendly and just trying to grind out objectives, it's just sad that there is no longer it's no longer as friendly as it was before. Okay, I do. That's a different perspective that I've not even considered. If they're putting competitive elements into a friendly mode, it's not friendly anymore. The point of friendly is it's supposed to just be exhibition. Casual. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exhibition. Go off, have a bit of flair. Play 5 players up front. Play the Master League default formation with 1 defender and 10 strikers. Yeah, that's fine. Nice. Doesn't matter if you get trashed because it's irrelevant. And that's kind of that. You can see that logic still applies. People are happy enough to just quit games because it's irrelevant. But yeah, it's not friendly anymore. It is friendly, but it's not friendly. We're all friendly, competitive, and you can't have friendly and competitive. You can't have a friendly competitive. It will deteriorate. It always deteriorates. So it will drop off. Magic Man says, I've fallen asleep during 2 online matches of PES. Yeah. Did my opponent think I was being toxic when I woke up from the pad rumbling and I started to play? Maybe. That's incredible. Casey Dye says, sleeping is toxic. God damn it. People always look for the quickest ways to unlock and level up, but I do agree some games make it too much of a grind. Yeah, absolutely. People will look to find the ways. Fortnite is all about the challenges for me. Fortnite, for example, I did all the bounty stuff on Fortnite pretty quickly because I found the easiest ways of doing that was to get a bounty and let someone else kill them. Just keep grinding that. Yeah, nice. I mean, I find ways to level up within the realms, just like everyone does. But the thing is like you say, the balance of the grind. There's nothing wrong with the grind. I applaud a grind, as long as the balance is right. So sticking with PUBG, for example, yesterday I finished the Battle Bride pass. I didn't enjoy that grind. So yesterday I stuck with it just to finish it and to get rid of it because I didn't enjoy that pass. It wasn't as good as the other passes. So I did it to get it out of the way because I'm a completionist. I want to finish that bit. Whereas the other ones, I like to fight my way through the passes. That one I didn't. Whereas Fortnite, I went on Fortnite. Once I finished my Battle Bride pass, turned it off, went on to Fortnite, and I really enjoyed playing through the Fortnite because I didn't win a single game yesterday, but I ticked off a shitload of missions, and that's kind of that's an acceptable grind. There's a reward, there's a benefit for it as opposed to just 15 hours later.
In the match. Yeah.
I only
Well,
play.
this has been a podcast today.
I know, we're just going to wrap things up now. I only play career mode. I feel like I'm actually working towards something. Foot just isn't for me. I'm same. I do that last season of
I don't
Fortnite.
have the time.
You are?
Foot requires so much time to be a worthy investment, and it's just something I don't have. That's why I was saying to people yesterday that I'm just jumping onto online seasons on FIFA. I'm enjoying playing them at the moment. Obviously, it's just normal. He's playing against somebody else, but I can just dip in and out of that. I can play 2 matches if I want to, and then if I win both of them, feel fulfilled. If I lose both of them, still feel fulfilled because I've only wasted 20 minutes of my time. But 15 hours is such a long amount of time. I just would not be able to get anywhere.
15 hours minimum. 15 hours providing you win every game. And
It's a long time.
A lot of people are, let's say, around the 50% mark. Obviously, some people win 80%, some people win 30%. Let's call it 50. So in that sense, you could be looking at 30 hours over a full day of constant play. That's not a grind for me. That's too much. No, thank you. Last season of Fortnite, I thought it was too easy to level up. Actually, I wait until the end, usually, and then just do all the missions at once. But this one, I'm level 26.
You play it and not buy them.
Yeah, exactly. Kissy Dad says, I'm just shit at FIFA. Yeah, I know that feeling too. And on that bombshell, let's wrap things up, seeing as this has been a hefty show. 1 hour and 41 minutes, so about an hour and a half when you take off the intro and the outro and stuff. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. And thank you for welcoming me back as well. It's nice. It's been a week since I've been away. And what a response as well. Pirates with a sub. Where were we? Beans with a sub. Pirate with a horse. Skids and Corns with a raid. Enix with 10 gifties. Mimicking with a follow. And Bacon Chin with 100 bits as well. I mean, absolute huge, unbelievable scenes. Thank you very much, guys. We're back up to 50 sub points. Yeah, boy. Yeah. What? As well as West. Thank you very much, West, as well. You were in early doors, even though that's not on the feed. And Jess as well for the Prime. Which once again isn't in the feed because, Streamlabs just does what it wants. It does what it wants. Great scoop, guys. Till next time, everyone, have a good one, guys. Thank you very much, Epic. Your goodies should be on the way as well, by the way. Obviously, I started out getting your details. Bib did finish that, so Muscle Moose should have sent your stuff. Hopefully, it arrives soonish. Obviously, it is travelling from the northern to the southern hemisphere, so it may be a while before it gets there, but hopefully you enjoy it. But we're going to disappear. There will be no extra content from me today. I don't know if you're planning on jumping back on with anything.
I've got a load of stuff that I need to do before tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a few work bits to do. So yeah, I'm going to jump off. Bibbs is going to jump off, and we'll be back tomorrow for the final scoop of the week at 10 a.m. ish. Before we do disappear and come back though, Bib, is there anything you want to add?
Yes, if you do see any video game news knocking around the social media platform of your choice, then do feel free to get in contact with us. There's 2 ways you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at Ice Cream Uploads or at We've Got Rubinho or at Graham_Day. Second way, get into our Discord. There is an area in there called The Scoop. All we need is the URL, your thoughts and opinions. We will add then our thoughts and opinions in the very next show, which will be at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
It will be at 10 a.m. Ish. When do you all break for Christmas? Is tomorrow the last one for the year? Well, technically, we do break for Christmas tomorrow. We haven't had a conversation on that yet, though.
No, we haven't.
So TBC. Yeah, we will update when we know what the update is. At the moment, we don't know. But yes, until then, though, we will see you 10 a.m. in the morning. So have yourselves a fantastic day and stay frosty.